guys, and welcome to my December wrap-up. Now, you'll notice me changing clothes a bit, and the reason why is because I initially wanted to do the wrap-up and the TBR together, but it was around 20 minutes long, so that was a bit too much, so that's why I'm separating them. So this December is the most that I've read in the past couple of months. I was really happy with myself. I read a total of 10 books and 1 novella. And let's get down to it. The first book that I read was Anything to Have You. This is not in any chronological order, so technically it's not the first book that I read. This one's story is a bit interesting, to say the least. There's a lot of swear words in here, and there's just a lot of... It's more for older teens, but it was interesting. I found it enjoyable, and I gave it 4 stars. And it talks about this girl who has a crush on her best friend's boyfriend, and then something happens, but she can't remember, and then this whole plot revolves around the best friend and the boyfriend and all that stuff. And it was interesting. I liked it. I've read better books with the same topic, but this was good too. The next book that I read is an ebook, and it is The Essence by Kimberly Durting, the second book in the Pledge trilogy. I read this in preparation for the third book, which is The Offering, and The Essence was pretty good. I actually remembered a lot of things that I didn't think I would remember from the first book, which I read almost 2 years ago. But it was enjoyable, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. This is the first time that I actually follow my previous filmed TBR to the T. There was only a 1 book difference, and I added 2 extra books, two books and a novella in the mix. But I basically mostly read the books on my TBR, so applause for me. Moving on to the third book, which is The Offering by Kimberly Durting, the third and last book in this trilogy. This is dystopian, historical of some sorts, and this is very unique. It's a very unique dystopian world, I have to say. This whole trilogy, basically the world or the society is separated by what language they speak, and some language are superior to others, and then the whole revolution happens and all that stuff. And this is the last book. I liked this last book. I just had some issues with the female protagonist because of some decisions that she made that frustrated me. But overall, it was a satisfying ending, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. The fourth book that I read is The Rule of 3 by Eric Walters. This is a survival novel. It is not... well, it is post-apocalyptic. It's nothing like The Fifth Wave. There are no aliens or any of that stuff. Basically, the power goes out. Any equipment or anything with a computer chip or anything like that just stopped working. And then these people had to survive because, you know, panic happened and people do things that generally they wouldn't do. So it's a very interesting novel. I felt like I was there. I was trying to survive with them, you know, building a new community and just like starting to grow food and scavenge and all that stuff. And I thought it was very interesting. I ended up giving this book 4 stars, and the ending wasn't a cliffhanger. It was a bit anticlimactic, but I'm okay with that because I'm so tired of really crappy cliffhangery endings. So I'm really excited for the second book, and I'm definitely continuing on with this series. The next book is See Jane Run by Hannah Jane. This is my second Hannah Jane book. My first was Truly Madly Deadly. So basically, I really loved the mystery and the way it was executed for Truly Madly Deadly. Unfortunately, for See Jane Run, it was a bit of a letdown, I have to admit. I ended up giving it 3 stars, maybe 2.5. It's just the mystery, the way it started was a bit weird and just so out of nowhere, and I just found it a bit boring. There's a lot of issues that I had with this book, so I ended up giving it 2.5 to 3 stars, but I am going to continue on reading Hannah Jane's mysteries if she's planning on writing more. I don't know if you guys remember on my TBR I said I will be reading a book for Epicrex, which is Daughter of the Forest. Unfortunately, I actually borrowed that book from the library, but I had to give it back and I never managed to read it, which is why I asked Mel to recommend me something that's already on my bookshelf. And she did, and what she recommended was This Song Will Save Your Life by Layla Sales. I was really happy to pick this book up because first, I love contemporaries, and second, it's music themed. But to be honest, this is not a light read. If you're expecting a light read, don't pick this book up. This book had me tearing up so many different times. It had me just like shaking my head at humanity and just teenagers in general and how they find it okay to bully people even though it's just that I don't understand bullies. I really don't. I don't understand people that take pleasure in making other people's lives miserable. It just frustrated me in this book, and I love the main protagonist. Her voice is so unique, and I think I'll be remembering her voice for a very long time. This actually made it to my top 25 books of 2013, which is a post I did on my blog, and I will link down below if you guys want to check it out. I'm not planning on doing one on my YouTube channel because I did one a couple of months ago on my top books of 2013 so far, so I won't be doing another one. I'll just be repeating most of the books. So this book, such a good book. 5 stars. Broke my heart so many times, and I just loved how strong the main protagonist was and how real she was, and just her thoughts and the way, a really good book. 5 stars for sure, all-time favorite. I really suggest you guys picking this book up for sure, and thank you Mel for recommending it. You're awesome. The next book that I read is my second mystery of this month, and it is Loud, Awake and Lost by Adele Griffin. Oh, this book. Okay, I did something I never do when I read books, which is that halfway through the book I went all the way to the end and read the ending. I'm already judging myself. But I just couldn't. This book was so interesting. The idea behind the girl losing her memory, and then everyone trying not to really remind her of her car accident, and she doesn't know what happened the past 6 weeks before her accident. And apparently people keep on telling her that she changed and she doesn't know why, and then she goes to her room and finds all these different new interests that she doesn't remember having an interest in. And then this other guy shows up one time and disappears, and it's just very mysterious. And I won't say creepy because there is no creep factor here, it's just very mysterious and you just want to know what's going on, which is why I couldn't stop myself from reading the end. But even though I read the end, I still ended up reading it and I really enjoyed it, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. The next book that I read is Being Sloan Jacobs by Lauren Morel. I received this for review and it comes out January 7th, so I had to read it in December. It's such a fun book. Really fun. I think that's the only way I can describe this book. A ton of fun, told from 2 POVs. Emily Sloan Jacob and Devin Sloan Jacobs. And one of them plays hockey, the other one figure skates, and they switch places, so it's kind of like a Parent Trap kind of thing. They were both supposed to go to camps in Montreal, but then they switch places, and she goes to that camp and the other one goes to the other person's camp. Not much substance, I have to say, and the ending was a bit vague. That's my only complaint about this book. Ending was a bit vague, and I felt that the romances for both characters were unnecessary. Honestly, I think I would have preferred it without them, or if they were more developed, but I don't think that they were that developed, so I still ended up giving it 4 stars. The next book that I read is The Eye of Minds by James Dashner. So this is futuristic. I'm not sure when it's set, but basically everyone goes to the virtual net to play and all that stuff, and then they have to find this hacker and they go on a journey. The main protagonist along with his 2 other friends. It kind of got repetitive because they have to keep on like overcoming obstacle after obstacle during their journey, but the ending, I have to say, was wow. It was very shocking. It was mind-blowing, I have to say. It was really good. I really applaud James Dashner for thinking up of such an ending. When I was reading this book and before I reached the ending, I was thinking, yeah, this is a good book, but I don't think I will want to continue on to the next book. But then I read the ending and I'm like, okay, definitely reading the next book. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely reading it. So this is a good book. I ended up giving it 4 stars or 3.5, not really sure, but I do have my review on the blog along with several of the ones I mentioned, so I will link them down below. So the next book that I read is No One Else Can Have You by Kathleen Hale. If you guys watched my earlier videos, you would know that I was pretty psyched about this book. And I just really loved the cover, and it was a murder mystery, which is something that I have come to really like in YA books. Unfortunately, this book is the worst book of December that I've read. It was so bad that towards halfway through it, I was just like skipping and reading the dialogue, just wanting the book to finish. And basically, this follows a girl who's 16 and her friend gets murdered. But the funny thing is that she finds out that her friend never even liked her, and she only hang out with her because she's the only one in their small town. Their small town's population is only 688. And then the girl starts to look for the murderer. What's really annoying in this book is, first of all, the word "you betcha" was said over 50 times, and also her father had the most disgusting and weirdest nicknames for her, like, what was it? Pimple was one of them, butthead was another, and apparently those are endearing terms, but every time I read those terms I'm like, oh my god. The dad was annoying, the whole town felt very weird. The way that they acted, what they did is like so not acceptable in any normal place, but for here apparently it's acceptable. One of the girls in high school starts this campaign against the murderer, and the only reason why she did that is because she wants brownie points and she wants to spice up her application for university. And she actually admits that. Who the hell admits that? The dad does the weirdest thing for his daughter. Just because she's looking for the murderer, he decides to ship her off to a mental institution. Why? I have no idea why. So this book is just really, really weird, and it just gave me it was just a weird book. And another thing was that there are a lot of swear words in this book and just crude, vulgar terms. And what's funny is that the writing, the way it's written, it can target tweens. So that's what I found really weird. It reminded me of Chucky, if you guys know that movie, with the little doll that creeped me out. This is how it creeped me out. So basically I gave it 1 star. It's not even worth 1 star, to be honest, and unfortunately I would never recommend this book to anyone. Before the last book. So the book before the last was a novella, and it is Fracture Me by Juhina. I was really excited for this novella. I was waiting for a novella on Adam's POV because I felt that Warner had an advantage with his novella Destroy Me, which blew me away along with millions of other people, I'm sure. So I switched to Team Warner, but then I'm like, yeah, I'm hoping Fracture Me will make me stay on, on the fence about both of them. But then I read it, and I don't know what Juhina is doing. I feel like she wants us to be Team Warner. Because that book, Adam, not the book, Adam disappointed me so very much. He disappointed me. I just want to say, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but some of the decisions that Adam did, not the first one concerning the brother, I'm not ruining anything, not that one. He's his brother, obviously. But it's just after that. What he did or did not do after that is what really disappointed me. And I was just really shocked that this is the Adam that I once loved, because I don't anymore. So I ended up giving Fracture Me 4 stars just because Adam really bugged me and I was just really disappointed with him. So the last book that I read this month is Champion by Mary Lou, the 3rd and last book in the Legend trilogy. This book took me a very long time to read, not because it wasn't a very good book, but because I was playing on the PS3. My sister got this game, Call of Duty Ghosts, if you guys know it, so kind of got obsessed with that game. So I took a couple of days to read this. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that I took my time with it, and I really don't understand why some people did not like the ending. I thought the ending was pretty good. I especially loved the way she did the timeline towards the end. I don't want to give any spoilers, and I thought the ending was befitting. It was really good. I don't understand why people didn't like it. I really enjoyed this trilogy. This is one of my favorite dystopian trilogies with a good ending, unlike Divergent. So I ended up giving this book 4 stars.